All right, what's up, kids? Today, I'm back with another episode of Design Lab, looking at a comic book graphic novel adaptation of Thomas Piketty's Capital and Ideology. I have not read Capital and Ideology. If you haven't seen it, it's a really thick book, like 1,100 pages. Pretty sure I'll never read it. Before he wrote Capital and Ideology, he had another book, I think it was just called Capital in the 21st Century, that was really popular, but again, like 700 pages. Pretty sure I'll never read it. But anyways, I did find this graphic novel, 177 pages, a little more manageable. This is the English edition, but I just downloaded this to show you that there is an English edition, but unfortunately the quality on this one is not very good. I read the Spanish edition because usually I try to read in Spanish or other languages rather than English. But anyways, this copy is not very good. So just so you know that normally I look at English editions, but today I'm going to look at the Spanish edition because it's just better quality and than the one I found for English. I couldn't find a good English quality. So just know that there is an English edition. The text is very similar. It's just in English instead of Spanish. This will give you the idea, though, what's in the book. So the book is, it's kind of a weird jumble of something like a story. There's like a family traced, like a family lineage that's traced, a family tree, and it begins in 1901, and then it jumps back, and then it goes forward. Cool art. I like the art. But it also, and then it goes into like these tangents about the tax rate, the economic system, what's going on. Very limited color palette. We've seen this in several other books lately. I like the art a lot. I found that the book as a whole didn't work for me, and I think it was trying to do things that have worked in other books. I've seen this even in other books recently. I talked about the Sapiens graphic novels, how they would kind of have characters, but then they would veer off into talking about the ideas more rather than the characters. Here, the characters are just so flimsy, and I felt like the stories were just like barely even there, and I barely even knew who these characters were. So I liked the parts about where they're talking about economics, but I felt like they could have just done that like throughout the book rather than have these semi storylines that kind of exist for a few pages and then characters just disappear forever, and it's like, guess that wasn't really a story that was going anywhere. Or one or the other, just have like all stories and kind of touch more lightly on the ideas, or just have all ideas and without any story. You could have done one or the other, but instead they did this kind of house divided thing, and neither works. So overall, I'm not really recommending this graphic novel, and normally I don't like to talk about books that I'm not recommending, but I feel like there's some interesting things in this book, and I think if you're really interested in economics, then yeah, maybe check it out. But I'm just saying, for me, it didn't do much, and I think that was the biggest fault, is like these kind of half state of characters that are barely even characters. And near the end, when they start getting closer to the modern era, is when they linger the longest with the characters, and it felt like there was kind of an attempt to get more with the story, but even then it was just so flimsy and it didn't really go anywhere, and then it just kind of ended on a note of nothing. So yeah, that's all I have to really say about this book. I'm going to just jump ahead and see if there's anything else I need. I found the more modern parts a little more interesting, but at the same time I felt like it was just telling me things that I've already heard a million times, and nothing too surprising, just the problems of the modern economic state, the problems of concentrating wealth with the wealthy, and how the wealthy are generally predisposed to extract more and more wealth at a rate much higher than the poor. So talks about populism, anyways. I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, nothing to add on this book, and I'm not recommending it, but you may like it if you really like economics book. I noticed I do have I have a few other economics books. Hypercapitalism. I talked about this guy, Larry Gonek, before. how I hadn't read him since I was a kid. So maybe I'll read this book at some point soon. Looks kind of interesting. And do I have any other economics books? This book is so. I mean, it's so low quality. Like the scan is basically a low quality scan. So I don't know if I really want to look at it. It's basically some kind of a graphic novel adaptation of Das Kapital by Karl Marx. So who knows? See you in the next video. Bye.